Up, up, up.
Up, up, up.
Up, up, up. Your sandwich is ready, sir.
Can I hear your best toaster oven impression, Eric?
Your sandwich is ready.
No, oven, not artist, dummy. It sounds like this. Meep. Like that. That's it.
Because it's a flash toaster, right? It's so quick that not even you can impersonate it. It's so quick.
It's so quick. It's
It's so
a
quick.
10-second.
Mm-hmm. What about the person putting the sandwich in there? Aren't they the toaster? They're toasting it.
No, they're more like the sandwich equivalent of the Amazon delivery driver. They get your sandwich from point A to point toast, and then from point toast to point mouth.
Mm-hmm. They're like all in-house creator, really. They are the one who bake the bread. They,
Hmm
chop the ingredients, they assemble the sandwich, toast the sandwich, bag it and tag it, and it's in your mouth
hmm
by 5 minutes.
hmm If that. The sandwich artist really is more of a sandwich conveyor belt operator. They're
Mm,
valued not for their creative mind, but for their nimble fingers and ability to
mm-hmm,
quickly move something down a
mm-hmm,
factory style line. So,
mm-hmm. A technician of sorts, a sandwichician.
sandwichician, exactly. I see you're sipping on some
Exactly.
beverages. You're sipping on some beverages over there, Eric. What are you sipping on?
Yes, holy
What's
water, that's my beverages.
mhm.
I got this Corona here, Ty.
Hell yeah.
I have a lot of s- different beverages in my refrigerator.
No
And
way.
I save them for nice days like today when I have to record with my friend and co-host Ty. Uh, I'm moved into a new apartment here and I don't have a bottle opener, so I use a
Mm,
lighter, just like a
mm.
ratchet female at a party.
Yeah, dude, you're living in a. Yeah, I didn't realize you moved into a frat house.
Yeah, dude, I've gotten so good at opening beer bottles with a lighter that I actually prefer it over a bottle opener.
That's
Like, just pass me a
incredible.
lighter.
Dude, everyone's got a novel beer bottle trick. Some people will open it with another bottle. Some people will
Mm,
open it on with their belly button or a rock or
yeah,
AirPod case.
it's like cutting a sandwich with another sandwich.
Can you imagine? Uh, I don't really have a bottle opening party trick. What I typically do
Mm.
is I use the leverage that comes with most front doors. I can open a front door, take the bottle, and put it up to the top of the door and just pull down. And usually the door
Oh,
will,
shit.
I'll either the bottle cap will just pop right off, or I'll peel some of the wood all the way down the side of the door.
Oh my
It's
God.
50-50.
Yeah, definitely don't do that anywhere near my LP because she will probably hang you immediately. Um, but my favorite trick is when my dad does. He uses another bottle to open it. Like one's
Mm-hmm.
upside down, one's right side up, and then you flick it off. And then that way you're stuck with one beer. And then if you want to drink with somebody, then you gotta put the cap back on the other beer and then redo it. But then your one's always open, one's always closed, so you can't drink at the same time. That's one major flaw with that system.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You always have to have one additional beer on retainer just to act as your bottle opener. You
Yeah,
can never really finish the supply.
yeah, exactly. You have to have an odd number of beers for you to be able
Mm-hmm,
to drink with somebody.
mm-hmm. Interesting. I feel like that's the universal bottle opener trick of fathers. I feel like every father secretly knows that one. I don't know how
Exactly.
to do it. I've never tried. I like the sound
Yeah.
of a can cracking open. Hmm, that was pretty good.
Thank you. Ty, we both came back from vacation. That's why we missed Friday's episode. We both flew out or drove out on the Friday, and
Mm-hmm.
or was it Thursday? I'm not sure, but we both left pretty later on in the week and missed our recording time. So Now we are here. We've both experienced the good old United States of America. We,
Mm-hmm.
dined, we drank,
Mm-hmm.
we may or may not have smoked.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we start with you, Ty? Why don't you go ahead and tell us where you went, what you
Where you
did?
went? Wow. I feel like I'm on a late night show right now with that type of intro. Now I'm supposed to give a compelling story that has a twist that ends with laughter, but I don't got any of that for you. I crossed the land border, Eric, and
Oh,
headed down
shit.
to Seattle, Washington, the land of homeless people and Amazon Prime. And it was a good weekend. I had a lot of fun there. I was just vibing out with some friends that live there. A premature Thanksgiving dinner of sorts.
Mm,
Um,
beautiful. Tell me about your land
yeah,
border experiences, Ty. What did you tell the border services officer? What was your reason for visiting at that time?
surprisingly enough, I had the easiest landboard experience of my life, Eric. I drove up, hucked him my passaporte. He said, "Anything to declare?" I said, "Hell no." And then he hucked it back and I just ripped off. I
Wow.
don't even think he opened it. It was it was such a quick transaction. Like it
Wow.
was like sandwich artist level dialogue.
Wow. He basically said, "What bread?" And you said, "You know what bread?" And he said, "Have a nice day."
Basically.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. I think like land border like dialogue is like always easier than it sounds. I think that like the whole
Mhm,
point, it's kind of like airport security. It's like they just try to scare you into not doing anything bad. But if you were
mhm,
to do something bad, they would never catch you because
mhm.
pulling someone over at the land border is a myth. I don't think that ever happens. They made a TV show out of it, but I think it's just all staged.
I think so too. Well, I've noticed there's two types of land border guards. You got the fella that I got who's comfortable in his heated booth and he's just watching the clock, right? He's not watching my passport number. He's not running my credit history. But then you also have the type of guy that like he's the standing desk equivalent of a land border officer. He's like he walks around the car. He's got like a flashlight that he's putting looking on your rims for some reason. They're always inspecting the car rims, and
Mm,
he wants to chat. He's a chatterbox, and he's not going to ask you
mm-hmm,
normal questions. He's going to say things like, "So how long have you lived at your apartment?" And
mm-hmm. He's waiting for you to like stumble, basically.
yeah, I
And I'll
might
tell you
accidentally
what.
misgender myself or something.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I hate those guys because they like abuse their power in like a weird like awkward way. It's like clearly they like didn't get any pussy in high school
Mm-hmm.
or even later in life, and now they're
Mm-hmm.
like using their boys in blue badge to terrorize me on my way to San Francisco. But I'll tell you what, this time was pretty good. The time before that, like I have like a different photo in my passport than what I look like now because I shaved my head. So
That's
before,
right.
prior to when I shaved my head, I had like long curly hair, and
Hmm.
then the guy said, "What happened to your broccoli hair?"
No way.
Dude, yeah, and I was like, "This fucking guy looks like he lives in his mom's basement, like playing Halo. He's got like it doesn't look he's ever had a haircut." And he's saying that shit to me. I was like, "This motherfucker! Like, if we were in the streets, you'd be getting some shots fired back at you, but now you're in a position of power, and I can't do that."
Damn. So you just have to say thanks for that
I
comment.
just looked at
And
him. I didn't say anything. I just looked at him like straight faced it. Like, what the fuck else would I say?
that's so funny. I can't believe he threw shade at you like that. But you did have quite the like TikTok haircut prior, and now you look like a Balenciaga thug, which is I think you think is objectively cooler, but the militant look I feel like is a little bit too hard. I think it doesn't really you're hiding your softer interior, Eric.
That's exactly what I'm going for. I want to be like terrifying. I want to look terrifying, Ty. But once you talk to me and get to know me, you realize I'm actually a kind soul, and
Mm,
I'm going to be the most loving person in your life. But until that point, you're going to be scared to approach me. Like, that's what I want.
right. That's how I currently feel about Skeet Davidson.
Why? Why? What did Skeet do to you?
Well, he's got such a like unique look that I don't know how I would engage with the man. He's very tall, lots of tattoos,
Huge
the type
cock.
of huge cog, the type of face that like when you're in like an art gallery and it looks like the painting is always watching you. I think
Mm,
that's how I would feel around Skeet. I think his eyes would never leave me, and I'm not just being
mm-hmm,
pretentious here. I just
mm-hmm,
feel like everyone would experience that.
mm-hmm.
Both eyes
Or
and lips, they're always watching you.
are you saying his eyes would never leave you, or your eyes would never go above his waist?
Probably both, because I don't want to get a kink in my neck.
Exactly.
Damn.
Well, I'm happy to hear that you also crossed the land border. I did the same. I drove into Bellingham and I caught a
Mm-hmm.
flight for about half the price. My first time ever doing that, and I don't know if it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't Uber across the border, which sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
Um, but honestly, if I was in a pinch, I would probably reconsider doing that. Tell me more about your trip,
Mm-hmm.
Ty.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I've done that cross the land border to catch an American flight just to save some money, and it's a toss up. Like, was it worth the effort? I don't know. It's
Hmm.
kind of like when you ask the sandwich artist to do something crazy, like maybe like toast the guac, and then you end up in this like they're just like they don't understand, and you're like have to figure it out with them, and you're like, was that even
Hmm.
worth it? Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
my trip was really great, Eric. I just kind of bummed around Seattle all weekend. Let me tell you about some highlights. I went. Oh, I had lunch at Google, the Google satellite campus there. uh,
Was this an invite only activation time? Did you have were you somebody's plus one or,
mhm.
what?
Yeah.
Please tell me how you landed this reservation at Google.
That's a great question. Much like the Met, you need an invite from you have to be someone's plus one to get in. I thankfully did have a connection on the inside,
Hmm.
um, a mole to get me into those free food. And I got to tell
Ay,
you,
Dios
like,
mío.
people always talk about like the free food at Google, right? They're always like, "Oh yeah, all the food's free," and like there's a bunch of it, and they're not wrong. Like, there's so much free food in that office. I wonder like why everyone that isn't like writing C++ for Google isn't 300 plus pounds. But dude, it was whack because like their lunch rush or like most of the lunch restaurants inside Google wrap up around like 2 p.m. Then they have to like close up to, I guess, send the workers home. But I rolled up around like 1 and I had an hour. And my friend says, like, we're going on a gauntlet. I want you to try every single restaurant here in the next hour. So we need to move
Holy shit.
quickly. Yeah, we need to we're going to perform like 5,000 restaurant searches in point 2 milliseconds, Google style. So immediately, like, running upstairs, like, through these like weird co working rooms and like gratitude booths and sleep lounges or whatever they have. And
Of course.
immediately got like this giant like tofu rice wok bowl. There's like 6 restaurants. I felt like a food court, and you just kind of pick one. A bunch of slices of pizza, gobble it up. I don't even finish it. Throw it on this like conveyor belt style tray that just like goes into the wall and it just disappears. It's just like there goes my food. And I'm like chewing on pizza crusts as I like run down the hallway. I'm burping. I'm groaning. I'm hurting. I quickly slam a cortado from one of the first cafes, and then I go and I get a mushroom burger, gobble, 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 barely able to finish that because I have to go get some ice cream and an iced chai latte. And then I like glug, glug, throw that back. And then made it to the last station, which was their crepe cafe, to order a crepe. And then I tried to cop another coffee before 2 p.m. And I pulled it all
Wow.
off afterwards. I'm like, I've never done this to my body. I've never eaten like that many different foods that quickly while also running like 4 flights of stairs between each meal.
Oh man. What is that like beer race where you have to like chug a beer, run a mile, and then like chug another beer? What is that called? Because that's kind of what you did. Yeah, except with like a chai latte
Mm.
and then a like cortado.
Yeah, athletes are never really a creative bunch. I think they just call it a beer mile.
Well, I mean, it's actually the best name possible for it.
Yeah, I guess so. It's
Wow,
the literal naming convention. So
exactly. Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty inspirational, man. So is this, is this like a normal thing that like tech places have? They just have like free food flowing? Because like I heard about like Twitter, like
Mm-hmm.
you hear Elon Musk tweeting out that he's putting an end to the free lunch at Twitter. He's gonna make employees pay
Mm-hmm.
for lunch again.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that. I think I was asking a few friends in tech about this afterwards. I think Meta gives you free food. Maybe not
Hmm.
anymore. They've stumbled on hard times. So we'll see how long that perks last. Maybe you'll get free metaverse food. You can
Mm,
gobble up some extra life points.
hmm. Yeah, so what do you think about, tech employees finally paying for food and being, part of the real world again?
Yeah,
Because
it's about time
I
they
heard
come back
this.
down to earth.
Yeah, I heard this shit and I was like, people are actually upset about this. Like, can you fucking imagine like anyone else getting a free lunch? Like, what doctors have to pay for their own food? Like, they're literally saving people's lives. They're doing the most important work in history in the
Hmm.
world, and they're having to pay for their own lunch. And there's
Yeah, and they're
some nerd who's like fucking scrolling on Twitter all day gets a free lunch. Like what?
yeah, it's whack as hell. And that doctor isn't getting a good meal. They're getting like hospital cafeteria schlop.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, they're
and this
getting that schlippity schlop.
And like, I bet you the doctors at their hospital cafeteria never have an appetite because like it would be
Mm.
disgusting, like just eating there with the patients. Think, okay, so I live near a I live near a hospital, Eric, and there's
Oh
a
man.
Tim Hortons location in the hospital.
Hmm.
So I have on occasion,
Oh
in an
no.
effort to purchase Tim Hortons products, entered the hospital to go to the Tim Hortons. I've only gone once. I didn't like it. The vibes were off, obviously.
Holy
Everybody's
shit.
sick. um,
Yeah.
but my friend who lives in the neighborhood also went into that Tim Hortons once in the hospital. And he said while he was standing in line, there was a dude in front of him with bandages all over his head in line. And he said one of the bandages flopped down and he saw the inside of the guy's skull.
Holy fuck, bro.
Right? That's
Holy
what
shit.
doctors have to deal with at the hospital cafe.
Hmm.
I would
And then
never eat.
the guy said, you know what? Maybe I'll pass on the macaroni.
Hmm.
You know
Damn,
what,
yeah.
Ty?
Like,
I too have been inside of a Tim Hortons in the hospital in the Burnaby location, and I had a sandwich. Yeah, I think it was a cranberry turkey sandwich, and I had a coffee. And I remember like sitting across from me down on the other side of the cafeteria was like a 400-pound man or like 500-pound man in a wheelchair, but it was like a
mm.
elevated wheelchair that was reclined, and it just looked like Boba Fett. It was just like a
Oh,
blob. It
you
was a blob of a human like with wheels on the bottom, and I was like,
right.
"What the fuck is like going on here? Is this like some human experiment happening in front of my eyes?" And the guy wasn't even like doing it; he was just sitting there. I'm like, "Damn, like, yeah, I can't eat here anymore. Like, that's crazy." I wasn't there by choice, but it was interesting experience to say the least.
Totally. You and Jabba the Gut over there
Yeah,
really make you lose your appetite.
I should have asked him his order. I'm like, "Oh, how what he's having."
He's clearly knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
Damn.
exactly.
Yeah, so to tie this back to our beloved tech workers, I feel like they probably don't have the right to complain. Their total comp on average like a few hundred G's, and now they have to pay for the already delicious food that they're getting for free for previously for free. Like the amount of
Hmm.
like just like homeless people that are probably like within a one perimeter block of this like caged civilization with unlimited free food just feels so I don't know, sad, messed up. There's something wrong. I mean, like, it's kind of
Hmm.
funny because Subway has free food. All the vegetables at Subway are free. In theory, Subway kind of operates like a little tech without the tech in that sense.
Hmm. Very little tech actually at all. Do you think like Subway is somehow like avoiding tax? Like they're not paying tax because like half of their ingredients are free? Do you think there's like some kind of benefit there? It's like, oh, people are buying this. We're actually a bakery. You're buying the bread, and then everything else
Mm-hmm.
is actually free. It's included. We're giving it away, and so they don't even have to like pay Uncle Sam anything at the end of the day.
I bet you that definitely plays into their import fees because when they get a fresh batch of tomatoes from I don't know wherever Vietnam or uh, like the cucumbers from Thailand coming in, they probably like if they're planning to resell those, mark them up and sell them. I'd imagine there's some hefty tariffs associated with that.
Exactly. But if you just check the box when you're importing things and say this is a gift, then you avoid all of it.
The factories in Fuck It are know it's a gift, so they wrap up the cucumbers with little ribbons for Subway.
Definitely. It's like for Jared. To
Wow.
Jared, love Vietnam. Wow. From Vietnam with
hmm
love. That's amazing.
hmm Cucumbers really are the baguette of vegetables.
They are. They're long. Um, they look good. You know what I mean?
hmm
You can carry them with one hand down the street.
hmm hmm
Oh, Ty, I have a free food story that I would like to share with you as well. Um,
mm
and this was actually on my way back to Canada, back to civilization, the land of the free.
hmm
Um, truly the free, not this illusion that you Americans live in. But at the Oakland airport, I was able to visit the Centurion Lounge provided to me by American Express. And shout out to the good folks over at Amex Canada and United States, Ty.
Damn. This guy's
But
got perks.
I got perks, baby. And let me tell you, the first thing I did was look at the bar. After checking in, of course, with my two complimentary guests, I waltzed my way over to the bar, asked for a Budweiser, and the guy handed
Nice.
me a Bud Light. This is the best part of the lounge. He says, "Oh, here's your Bud Light, sir." Cracks it open for me and just hands it to me, and that's it. No payment, just free Bud, pre-flight. That's a fucking game changer, bro. Like, it's just crazy, dude. I had like 3 beers before my 2-hour flight, and I was like, this is awesome.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
Dude, you are making good life decisions to end up in that situation.
dude, 100%, dude. And then I had like some buffet style food as
hmm
well with my several Bud Lights, and I gotta say, Ty, no matter how shitty the flight is after that, I'm happy because I've gotten fed. I had some drinks, and
hmm
after that, I'm just good. I put my AirPods Maxes on,
hmm
load up the new Drake album, and I'm just good for the rest of the day.
Hell yeah, dude. You're floating on cloud 9% alcohol.
Hmm.
I'm stoked for you. That's awesome. Getting
Thank
into a
you.
free bud situation is my dream. You basically unlocked the like working in tech version of flying in airlines.
Wow, absolutely, Ty. This is how the rich get richer. It makes so much sense.
hmm Like I blow like $45 on Campari sodas every time I go to the airport. But
Hmm.
that's money back in your pocket.
Hmm. Absolutely. Let me walk you through some of the food I had there. I had a couple of
Hit
deviled
me.
eggs.
Okay.
I had a turkey sandwich.
Mhm.
I had a plate of chicken and rice. Okay.
Okay.
Chicken was so dry, Ty. It was like the most dry chicken I've ever had. But thankfully, there was a tomato soup also on deck. So what I did
Mm,
was I just poured a spoonful of soup on top of the chicken and rice and made kind of like a butter chicken style mishmash. And
yum.
let me tell you, that was a game changer right there.
Dude, you got to do that at Subway, man. Get that post toast chicken is like dusty. So load it up with some marinara and you got yourself
Mm.
that chicken parm rolling in it. That would be really good.
It would be good. If Subway had a tomato soup, I would probably do the same thing, just like do a quick ladle across the entire
Mm-hmm.
sandwich.
Mm-hmm. The soup du jour. An au jus with it.
Oh yeah, buddy. Embedded jus.
Got jus on the inside like a wonton.
Dude, when the jus is one of your sauces, holy shit.
Anything else we can add to your sandwich? Well, what's the soup de jour? That's wild.
Oh man. But yeah, Ty, it was pretty incredible. I would recommend somehow finessing your way into a lounge, Ty. It's
Hmm.
you know, it makes any flight much more bearable.
Oh, if you're 3 buds deep, you could probably sit through anything.
Yeah.
At that point,
It
you're a human
also
piece of broccoli.
you're quite literally a fungus growing on the inside of the 737. Um, but Ty, it also one interesting thing I noticed is it removed the like internal pressure I have to order a alcoholic beverage on a plane because I was
Hmm.
already buzzed going into the experience. Like when you're buzzed
Hmm.
and you say hi to the flight attendant on the way into the plane, it's like it's just like so much better. It's like, hello,
So funny.
I'm doing great. And then when they come around, it's like water or coffee. Like you don't need to worry about like, oh, do I have to pay $9 for a gin and tonic? It's like don't even worry about that. It's like just get a water. You're already good.
The water's probably better for you at that point.
Exactly.
Shifts into recovery mode.
Hmm.
Wow, that's so great. I'm glad that you tapped into some Budweisers on your trip. I also tapped into some Budweisers, just like when my travel to Seattle had me purchasing all the same things I purchased in Canada. I got a bottle of Aesop hand soap. I got
Oh
a
yeah.
6 pack of Bud, some 818. You know how it goes.
Oh,
Um,
let's go.
but I have one friend that never will ever drink anything but like the most craftiest of craft beer. He's like a diehard purist, and I got that man to sip a Budweiser this weekend, and I felt like it was a big win for the big beer community.
Wow, that's a big win for the podcast too, Ty. I'm happy to hear about any conversions that we've made.
Absolutely, our CDR rate's increasing. I also dabbled in a lot of White Claw this weekend. My alcoholic friends would wake me up in the
Hmm.
morning with the crack of a White Claw can next to my ear, and then that would be the first thing to enter my mouth in the morning. And I gotta say, Eric, like a strawberry or like the like mango White Claw in the morning, kind of just tastes like a smoothie. So there's definitely like the potential addictive quality of these as like a wake me up kind of
Mm,
kick in the mouth every morning.
hmm. It's like your mind knows that it's bad for you, but your taste buds are like, oh, strawberry. Like, there's probably some vitamin C in here.
Exactly. It just feels like you're having a fresh pressed juice, but
Hmm.
carbonated and a little tint of vodka,
Hmm. Wow, that's inspiring,
right?
man.
Take it for a
Um,
spin.
I had a once again, Ty, I had a similar experience as you. At our hotel, I purchased a few Budweisers just to have in the mini fridge. You know,
Hmm.
I cranked the volume on the fridge all the way up to 6, and stored my Budweiser in there, ice cold, obviously. And I realized like this was checkout time, right? It's like I wake up at like 10 a.m. Checkout's at noon because I got the late checkout. I am a Hilton Gold member, obviously.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and so with late checkout, I said, "Oh fuck, it's 11:30 now," and I just remembered I have another Budweiser in the fridge that I never got to finish.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude.
So
So
did you dummy that bud right then and there?
yeah, well, I pushed my suitcase off of the counter and I made space for a for my Budweiser.
Uh,
And
any table can be a bar with the right attitude.
exactly. So, you know, friends were waiting in the lobby. They've already checked out, and I'm in my room chugging this Budweiser that I have to finish before I drive everyone. It's an hour, 2 hour drive to the airport. I have
Hmm.
to do it. Have to get a pre-drive beer in me first, guys.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, it worked out perfectly. It was a great
Yeah,
wake
dude.
up call.
Sounds like you're definitely doing the right things in the right order. That's the worst part about the trip. Any trip though is the alcohol at the end. Like you got to do something with it, and usually it's a situation like that. Like you're in the elevator down to the lobby with your bags, trying to like just polish
Hmm.
off the rest of some Captain Morgans. Like why did I buy this? For me, by like the third the third day of my trip is like that crack in the morning of the hard what do you seltzer, I guess? It's like I felt like from the movie Toy Story. I was like, "The claw," every time I said
Oh my God.
So, it can wear you
Dude,
down, if you feel like you have to finish it.
I mean, you're absolutely right. And also, like traveling is such a like unnatural human thing that we do, right? It's like, hopping into a SUV on the freeway and then like going into like a bus and then going onto a plane and then going back into a car. It's like really taxing on the body, you know? So I like
Mhm,
to start it
mhm,
off with one quick beer in the morning
mhm,
and then hop in the whip, drive over to the Amex lounge,
mhm,
consume three, four more beers, hop on the plane, and then back home, and I crack one more just for safety reasons, and then
mhm,
we're back, baby.
mhm, yeah, keep a cushion on those brain cells, keep yourself comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be conscious during this flight. Like I want, I want to be completely in outer space while I'm in outer space, if you know what I'm saying.
Mhm, it kinda helps you suspend your disbelief at the even the concept of flight, because it is, a little bit
Hmm.
awe awe-inspiring if you think too much about it.
It's kind of insane if you think about it. Like
Mhm.
I'm still convinced that like flying, it's just like you're loading. It takes a long time because you're loading a new world.
Yeah. It's like when
You
you
know
do
what I
a
mean?
scene change in a video game and you have to wait.
Yeah. Like the elevator is like you're loading the next floor, but like
Mhm.
when you move to a new city, it's like you got to load all this people. It's like a whole thing. So that's why it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, in a way, the windows on an airplane are a bit contradictory to the magic of it all because they kind of show what's behind the curtain. They show you're going up in the sky, they show you're landing back down in Paris,
Hmm.
and it's kind of cool just to step off it and be like,
Hmm.
time travel.
Yeah, literally time travel. But Ty, on the new Dubai, the Arab Emirates flight in first class, there's a middle
Mhm.
row. Okay, so every seat is like a room basically, but the middle row obviously has no window seat. And so they have a virtual window and it's based on like camera footage from outside.
Oh, cool.
So it's like quite literally like a simulation. Like I'm just gonna trust that this is actually happening outside.
Dude, it's like augmented reality on the airplane. Can you imagine if the sneeze guard was actually a screen that
Oh
showed a
shit.
sandwich artist's hands reaching in the buckets? You can't actually see the sandwich artist reaching in the buckets, but it kind of simulates it. That would be really
Wow.
on brand for Subway because everything there is simulation real. Uh, but it would definitely make me question the validity of the things going into my sandwich.
At the very least, Ty. Wow. I mean, we saw the Tupac hologram. Like,
Hmm.
obviously, like, what's the possibility of there being like a hologram sandwich artist where it's like, yeah, I can see their face, but anything below the shoulders is actually like a hologram, and then the veggies themselves have been like photo retouched.
Yeah, totally. It's not 2 Pac, it's 2 inch. And it's as real as it gets.
It's as real as it gets, Ty.
It's a whack idea, Eric.
That is a whack idea. I got one more food story for you, Ty. We went to the famed House of Prime Rib in San Francisco. Have you heard of this? You spent some time there.
I have, but I haven't attended any prime rib activations. It sounds familiar though. Is that over in like near Polk Street?
It's on Van Ness,
Yes, Van Ness.
and yeah, it's one of those places where basically all you do is order a cut. There's one
Oh,
thing on the
cool.
menu. It's the prime rib, baby, and you order what style of cut you want, and you get some choice of sides, but it's really just predetermined for you.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
and one thing I want to share about this Thai was there was a table side activation, okay? Both the Caesar and the prime rib were a tableside uh, preparation.
Damn, it's always the like meat heavy establishments that do the tableside Caesar. And I think it's because the lettuce is so underwhelming compared to the deep cuts that they have to like jazz it up a little bit. But you're telling me they
Hmm.
actually also do the meat tableside, like you're at your own little omakase experience?
Kind of, yeah. So I'll walk you through it. They come around. Everyone gets the same thing, right? Like everyone has like a slice of meat and some sides and like a salad to start. They come by with like a big bowl of like romaine lettuce,
Hmm.
some shreddis, basically, and then all their dressings and whatever goes in the dressing, right? They mix it all together in this like big bowl, and then they just plate it one by one, and they hand it to you. They like walk to your side of the table and like hand it to you,
Mm.
and then everyone gets their salad, eats their salad. They come take that away, and then they wheel this like huge metal cart filled with like basically half a cow in there. It's like there's like three huge hunks of meat with bone in and everything. And
Damn.
he just like opens this thing, and the guy's wearing a huge white hat, so you know it's real. It's like the real ratatouille type beat. And
Yeah.
then they just like slice it up, come by. Every time they slice it, they like walk over and personally like hand it to you, right? And
Like they
then
do at Aesop.
quite literally, yeah, it's like let me walk you out. It's like that vibe.
Mhm.
But they come by with like a huge cut of meat and yeah, whatever sides you ordered, and they come by with several different horseradishes as well. There was a
Mhm.
flight of
That's
horseradish Thai. There was mild, medium, and hot.
mhm. And that's the equivalent of the sauce selection.
Absolutely Thai.
So how much meat did you eat?
Um, I don't know what it is in any kind of like agreed upon measurement. But it filled a large plate. Let's just say it
Damn.
was the biggest piece of meat I've ever eaten.
Wow. So how
Yeah,
did you feel afterwards?
I felt fantastic. I finished my
Yeah.
entire piece and about a quarter of my girlfriend's.
There's no stopping this guy. 12 inches of anything he can eat.
Yeah,
Doesn't
dude.
matter how dense it is. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
man.
I feel like I remember when I was in Tuscany ordering a bistecca fiorentina. This is back when I was a meaty boy, and
Mm.
splitting it with LP, and it was the giant ass hunk of meat. It had to be like a foot long by a 6 inch or something like that. Just an absurd slab of cow,
Wow.
freshly butchered that morning. And I was like, this is the best meat I've ever had. So I can
Wow.
sympathize with that type of consumption and how energizing it must feel
Hmm.
to just
It,
consume an
it's
entire another animal.
it's incredible. There was even an option on the menu for a glass of milk. And,
No,
and I just thought to myself, like, wow, like way to dominate an entire species. Like, I mean, eat the parents and like whatever's left for the kids, you know?
steal the milk from the youth. Damn,
Hmm. Yeah.
that's so funny. I'm assuming 2%.
It's funny because I would assume homo milk.
Mm, fair. Depends if they're trying to appeal to like a large palate or they're really just like into their own food. They would go home if they were
Mm.
just like really into what they were doing. But I think they'd go
Hmm.
like 2 or 1% if they wanted to like ensure the entire table orders a glass.
Hmm. It's yeah, I mean, being into your own food is kind of like a marketing play in itself. Like the whole restaurant is called House of Prime Rib. It's like obviously they're into their own food,
They're into the prime rib. Yeah, dude. It's the it's the craft butchery of restaurants.
quite literally. Tableside.
Hmm. That's a pretty cool activation. I ate nothing similar to that in Seattle. I'm trying to think. For
I would hope
Thanksgiving
not.
dinner, I had sides.
Yeah, walk me through the side breakdown. Like as a vegetarian at a Thanksgiving dinner, you need to like really go hard on the sides.
Totally. So the trick is get your plate and get up there early because you're taking a bigger portion than everybody else. You want to make sure you get a little bit of all the sides. That's tip number one.
Mm,
Um, Typically, the sides of these types of activations are always better than the main. Like, no one knows how to actually cook a turkey good, you know? So you're always like getting the piece of meat that looks kind of gross or it's a little bit too dry.
hmm
So I don't even waste my time with that. You don't need to. I'm all about the buns. You see the bread,
mm.
that Italian herb and cheese. Um, Stuffing, if you're lucky, it will sometimes veg friendly. But then it's all about like the roasted veg, the Brussels, the zucchini, the potatoes,
The
mashed
carrots.
potatoes. Yeah, the carrots. Getting into all those little corners of the table. That's always really
Wow.
satisfying. And then you just like dollop that shit with cranberry sauce. Sauce always comes last. Um, yeah, you can make a whole plate out of it. Usually there's a salad, usually there's like some bread and butter. You're basically making a deconstructed veggie sub.
Every vegetarian meal is actually a deconstructed veggie sub.
In a way, yeah, it's always the same things, just different order.
I consume so much butter at that dinner time. Like, obviously, there's like a bread and butter thing at the beginning, and I just like go so hard on the butter. Like, I take a whole butter ball for myself and just slather it on a piece of bread and one bite it. It's just
Mm,
like I don't need
oh
milk. I
yeah,
got butter.
hell yeah. I spare no carbs when I'm at a meal like that. Actually, most of the time at the butter, I'm very generous.
hmm
It just
Absolutely.
makes life better. It's better with butter.
It's better with butter, Ty. And you're right about the turkey thing. Like people don't innovate with turkey very much, but
Mm,
because it's like a carrot, like yes, I have to do something interesting, or else it'll just be a carrot. Like you have
exactly.
to like do something good with it.
Yeah, so you see the most progressive, like culinary styles with the sides. That's where the innovation is happening. The turkey only exists there to check a box. It's like, oh, you have to have
hmm
a turkey dinner, therefore turkey must be present. Check. Everything else is free game. It's up to
hmm
the house rules of how those sides are going to manifest. That's so exciting because, like, what's your take on mashed potatoes? Everyone does it a little differently. You're always going to get a treat with mashed potatoes.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. At this
Hmm.
primary spot, for example, guess what it was? Mashed potatoes with just a
Damn.
dollop of gravy in the middle. But
Mm.
there was an option for a baked potato, which I did opt for.
Ooh, that's kind of fun. Did it come with skin on then? I'm assuming.
Skin on, cracked wide open, much like a sub at the beginning of your sandwich journey.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
it had a huge dollop of cream. What is
Hmm.
that called again? Sour cream. Um,
Crema.
yeah, bacon bits, chives, the greatest hits. And then
Mm.
of course, attacked it with some black pepper and salt
So I'm assuming a place with tableside prime rib is like three, maybe four price tags on Yelp.
at
If
minimum.
now I've baked many a potato in my day, and that side dish is remarkably consistent. No matter what I do, it always tastes the same. So how is a four price tag Yelp restaurant iterating on the baked potato concept in order for it to be worth my money?
Mm. I think in this case, it's just sheer quantity. I think it's
Oh.
just a large potato. I've never seen a potato in a grocery store at this size before. It was so big, Ty, that I couldn't finish it. I was like, I need to eat this prime rib. I'm not leaving without consuming all of this meat,
Hmm.
and this potato's gonna have to take a backseat to that. And it
Damn,
did.
it's a garnish at this point.
Exactly. So you're right. Not the most exciting side dish when I'm paying $300 for a dinner.
Hmm. Facts.
um, but I'm happy with knowing I had good wine and good beef.
Hell yeah. So we have a measurement system for identifying size of potato. How many foot longs is it?
6 inch.
A
It was
6 inch.
huge.
That's pretty big potato.
Big old potato. And yeah, it was good dinner overall. I'm trying to think of what else we had. The dessert menu looked astonishing, but we were so full that even just the idea of consuming like a cheesecake was like off the table, literally.
Oh, I can't imagine tackling dessert when you're like uh, dealing with those meat sweats, you know?
Hmm. Have you ever had like a dinner in the States with like 12 people in it? Like, how did you
Mm.
like solve the bill problem at the end? Because like
I
in
hate
America,
bills.
dude, like they just like don't understand the concept of like who is paying for what. It's like, okay, me and Bay are together and we want to cover like this person as
Hmm.
well. And it's like that's just like it's like a math equation that just can't be solved to them.
It's whack as hell. So I get why companies like Google just eliminated paying for food altogether. Uh, I ran into this situation multiple times this weekend. We had 8+ people around a table, all trying to
Hmm.
order Indian food or some other dish, and it was a nightmare because one person ends up dropping clink the Amex at the end of the meal, and then as a Canadian, we don't have access to Venmo. I swear to God, Venmo is lobbying the U.S. government to keep these businesses doing this and preventing any other type
Hmm.
of like transfer tool. It should just be your bank should handle this, either your
Yeah,
bank or the
just like in
restaurant.
Canada.
Like, why do we need to get Venmo involved too? There's too many people in my wallet and in my bank account.
Yeah. There's always like a handful of actual Americans there that are like, oh, just Venmo me. I'm like, I will not be doing such thing.
Hmm. And then you're like, I guess I can cut you a check, or we can go to an ATM after, or I can transfer you some of my Bitcoin.
Hmm.
You start going through the laundry list of options till you find something that works.
Hmm. And I'm not gonna, settle until I'm able to get some Amex points from this. Like,
Totally.
you're not gonna be taking money from my checking account. There's no way. It's gonna come from Amex.
I think I'm gonna start having to carry around my own personal Square reader for these types of situations.
Mm,
Just tap my
absolutely.
phone.
Absolutely. I think at our table, it was a table of 12, and we had 6 people put their cards down, be like, "Oh, just put it on all on mine." And it's like, "No, no, 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 it's not happening. I gotta meet my minimum spend this month." Like,
Yeah, nice try.
it's
I
not
need access
happening.
to that lounge. Damn.
Yeah, exactly. You think I'm about to give up the lounge access for this steak? No fucking way.
Not a fair trade.
No. Damn. Yeah, dude. Lounge access, you have to do it, Ty. It's like Bay will think you're a celebrity. It's just
That's
like,
cool.
yeah, you'll be a upper class person.
Hmm. I don't think my CIBC Visa is gonna get me any more perks than it already does. Shout out to that 1% back. I have such a shitty Visa card. That's why I'm so balls deep in crypto, Eric, is because there has to be a better way.
There is a better way, Ty. For someone who spends as much as you, your high spend lifestyle, Ty, would be perfect for uh, an American Express credit card. And you already know I got the referral link in the description.
The challenge though, Eric, is I can't handle the being declined everywhere, That I'm too weak of a personality for them to say no, we don't accept Amex.
Hmm.
I
It
like
makes
to
them look
pitch.
weak though.
Yeah, you use it as an opportunity to flex your own personal brand.
Absolutely. I've decided to actually just flip that onto them and be like, and then verbally, so everyone can hear, oh, you don't accept American Express at this restaurant? And then they go, no, I'm sorry. And then that just means all I hear when they say that is like, I'm sorry, we're too broke, you know?
Right. That's a good point, Eric. As long as you publicly shame them for it, then you can never be the loser.
Exactly.
Well, maybe I'll
Uh,
think about it then because I'll just put it on my phone anyways. I don't need to carry around an extra card. Tap,
yeah.
beep.
And then you have your 1% back for backup.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. I learned something today.
I'm happy to help, Ty. At Subway, you get 5 times the points
Do
on
you actually?
sandwiches.
No way.
Dude, yeah, all food.
Wow. That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
You're catching flights and footlongs.
Ah, wonderful. Well, Ty,
Well,
that's been
King, we're
a
coming up. Yeah, we're coming up on an hour here. I feel like we
yeah.
should save some of this juice for next episode.
Save some of this jus for
Bonjour.
next Friday, and yeah, maybe we can link and build in the studio and do this one in
I think
IRL.
I think we must, Eric, because 200 episode, next episode, big
Wow.
deal, big celebration for Think Fresh, the 200
Holy
mile mark.
shit.
That's a lot of
Dude,
inches.
that's actually incredible. I can't believe we've done this for 2 plus years, 200 episodes. What the fuck? That's
What
crazy.
what an absurd like milestone. No one should have recorded this much podcasting about a single fast food franchise.
You're
Yet here
absolutely
we are.
correct. Yeah. Well, that's all.
Yeah,
That's
join
all,
us for
folks.
the meatball dropping, the big 200, bringing in the new triple digits next episode. It'll be a
hmm
celebration. One for the books, one for the breads. Quit the spread for the breads.
hmm Yeah, it'll have to be as good as if it were our last.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I treat every episode like it's our last, Eric, because I truly don't know if we will record again afterwards.
I too treat it like it's our last, Ty. It is what it is.
All right, my kings and queens, my breadheads and herbs. Have a great evening, and we'll catch up with you again later this week. Think fresh, everybody. Good night.
Good night.